Hi, welcome to Amazement Square Anywhere. I'm Miss Tammy, and today we have two special guests with us. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
I'm Lily Meehan.
And I'm Nancy Lilly, and we're the
Water Lilies.
We work for Lynchburg Water Resources.
Today we're going to talk about the effect pollution has on our water. Why don't you show us what that's all about?
Okay, great. So we have a model of a watershed. Lily, can you tell us what a watershed is?
Yeah, a watershed is an area of land where all the water flows to one spot.
So it's not a shed full of water.
I thought it was a shed full of water, but no.
Okay. So our model today, we're going to pretend like we have the James River, which runs right through downtown Lynchburg. And these kind of creeks that run up, we'll pretend today that they're the creeks like Blackwater Creek, Fishing Creek, the creeks that run through town. Are you guys ready for a tour?
Let's go.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna start here at our car wash. What kind of things might you find at a car wash? Soap and
Cars.
dirt, and maybe some oil too, definitely cars. But for this model, we just find mostly soap. So Lily's gonna add a little bit of soap to the back side of the car wash, because when we wash our cars, most people just wash their cars right in the driveway. And that means all that soap is gonna mix with our water, and we're gonna find out where it goes. So our next stop will be down at the boat ramp. And just like we might find some oil up here at our car wash, I bet it's pretty tricky to change the oil in a boat engine. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah,
Oil
for sure.
spill.
Watch this.
Yeah, so we might put a little bit, have a little bit of oil from the boats. And you know, you think of if you spill just a little bit of oil, maybe not a big deal. But if everybody spills just a little bit of oil doesn't mix well with water. So it will kind of compound and gain a lot of traction and start causing a pretty big problem. So let's take another kind of swoop to the outskirts of towns, and we're going to check out a farm. So this time of year, what are farmers doing on their fields?
Putting down fertilizer.
Yeah, we're gonna put down fertilizer. We've got all of our cows are outside. They're not in the barn anymore. And we might be tilling up a lot of things to kind of get the farm ready to go, because farms are really important. And there's a lot of good ways to farm, and sometimes some things might happen on accident. So we're gonna see, we've got our dirt is all tilled up, and our cows are gonna be pooping all over the place because they are very happy with all the new spring grass.
That's for the cows.
Cows love to poop.
Okay, so it hasn't rained yet, so all that stuff is just sitting right on the top, which is okay for now.
Mm-hmm.
And where else? Let's say we have a picnic right down here by the James River. What might happen if it's kind of a windy day? Like, it's pretty windy today, and we've got all of our Doritos, we've got our chocolate bars, and what else would you take to a picnic? Sandwiches.
Wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, definitely.
And I always take my dog with me to the park, and they poop.
Yeah. And okay, great. We've also got a couple of factories. Lynchburg has a lot of industry here, and we do have a lot of factories. So this is our factory, and this little thing is gonna be our things that we don't want in the water. It's probably maybe some toxic waste, or a lot of really concentrated soap, or what else might it be?
Oil, debris,
Could be anything.
could be a lot of stuff.
And what's one other thing you might find on our roads in the wintertime? We're kind of in the spring right now, and we had a pretty mild winter, but sometimes if it rains and then freezes, which has happened in the past in March, what might you find on our roads?
Salt.
Yeah, so we've got a little bit of salt. Yeah, salt melts ice, and so we're gonna add a little bit of salt just in case it freezes.
Put that on all the roads.
You gotta add a lot.
Well, yeah.
Gotta be safe.
Gotta melt all that ice.
Yeah.
Over here, for sure.
Okay, so
So it looks like a lot of pollution.
yeah. Well, it looks
Out
like a
and
lot
about.
of pollution right now, but it's
Yeah.
not really in our waters yet. So what is the thing, that is the vector that brings all the pollution into our streams?
Rain.
Yeah. And we're gonna make it rain.
All right, let's make it rain.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say the rain comes in from this direction and it's only starting on one side. Uh-oh, we got some trash in there already. And the soap's starting to run, getting a little sudsy. We've definitely got some salt in there, you guys.
Getting in the river.
Now the rain is gonna be, do you guys see any oil in there?
Yep, there goes
Yeah.
the oil.
And now we've got the soap and the oil are getting together. We've got some rain on the farm, and that dirt is just going right in there.
And we've had a lot of rain this spring.
We have had a lot of rain so far.
What about the cow poop? Where's the cow poop going?
Right in the river. And there goes the dog poop into the river too.
Yeah, and the
And
trash.
the trash.
And then the rain, we get really big into this toxic sludge over here. Like, this thing is open. That's not a good idea. Oh man.
Oh no! Not the toxic waste.
Toxic waste. What other kinds of pollutants do you think we might see in the springtime? You said one, Lily. Fertilizer might be a big one, and grass clippings are actually a really big problem that we run into because a lot of people think you can just put those right in the storm drain. And that causes a lot of problems downriver. So what are some ways that we could fix this? Pick up your trash.
Yeah.
Take it with you. Yeah, we want to make sure that we're accountable for all of our garbage. And what about the poop?
For the cow poop, we can fence our cows out of streams and rivers so that that poop is managed in one area.
Yeah, farmers can have a really huge impact on stream quality because think of how much land a big farm usually has. If you have a lot of animals, those animals can have a pretty big impact on a stream. But they can also have a really positive impact on a stream because cow poop is it's a natural fertilizer. So if you keep your cows out of the stream, like a lot of responsible farmers do this now already. And then you have really fertile soil that's staying on the land, absorbing a lot of that rain, and your cows aren't getting into the stream causing erosion. We also have dog poop. So what's one thing that we can definitely do to keep a lot of that poop, which has bacteria in it, and it can make other animals sick, including your pets can make each other sick. So how do we keep that from getting into our rivers and streams?
Clean it up.
Yeah, you just gotta
Yes.
pick it up, get a little dog bag. That's really easy. What about like soap how would you prevent stuff like this getting into the water?
BMPs.
What's that?
A BMP is a best management practice. We have them all around town, throughout the city, and there's retention ponds and filters and things that are underground or above ground to hold water.
Yeah, so as a consumer, the best way to help our water quality is to make sure when you take your car to get washed, or if you wash it yourself, you're either washing it onto vegetated area or you're making sure that your car wash is taking good care of their soapy water. What about our factory? How would we prevent our factory from polluting?
First of all, they should put a lid on their toxic waste can.
Right, we want to make sure that that our an industry in our areas are being held accountable. And in Lynchburg, they do a pretty good job. So our population in Lynchburg is 80,000 people, but our wastewater treatment actually treats enough wastewater, which is water full of soap and poop and all kinds of things from industrial, of the equivalent of about 250,000 people. So our industry, that means they're taking good care to make sure that all of their waste products are sent to the proper place. Anything else you guys have to add?
No, I just think people need to be responsible and clean up after themselves.
Yeah, and this is actually something you can do at home right now, right? We're all at home. We're trying to keep away from each other to not spread germs. What's one thing that is a really easy way to go outside and help your community by yourself right now?
take a plastic bag with you when you go on walks around your neighborhood and pick up all the trash that you see safely.
Safely, yeah. So we're gonna avoid things like glass and sharp objects, but and it's best to have gloves on, but we can definitely, or a grabber. We can definitely go and pick up trash. You could even walk across the street from your friend and make sure to keep our communities clean. Definitely want to make sure you're picking up your dog poop and talk to your local farmer. See how they're keeping their water clean on their land.
Great.
Anything else, you guys?
No, I just want to show how you can do a quick experiment about oil and pollution in the water at home that people can do at home. And what we have here is just a pan full of water. And I'm going to add a little bit of oil. That could happen, you know, an oil spill could happen. So we'll add a little bit of oil in to the water.
So I can see here that the oil is being kind of rejected by the water.
Right.
And that's pretty ubiquitous for all oil, right? Oil from cars, oil from cooking, which also includes things like grease and lard and butter.
Right.
And those molecules fight. They don't like to blend in really well.
Right.
And water, fearing.
So when water spills into a river or an ocean and an animal gets in it, I've got some ducks. I'm gonna tragically put them in the oil.
They can't float anymore.
They can't float
They
anymore.
can't even swim around.
So once they get in the oil, they do have a problem moving. And if somebody frees them from the oil, they still have oil on them, and you can wipe that off a little bit. And there are certainly people who help clean up animals after the oil spill. But then this is where you can try something at home. How can you clean up oil out of the water? That's the challenge. So I have a spoon that I could try to get the oil out with a spoon. And you can get a little bit of it. So that's one way. But even scooping it out with a spoon, I don't think you're going to get it all.
And it looks like when you put it back in, it got broken up more. So
It
that would just
did.
make it more challenging.
So I also have some cotton balls. We could try to clean it up with some cotton balls, kind of absorb it. And again, that gets some of it out.
That looks like it's working maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of absorbing it into it. And I have paper towels as well. And the idea is just to kind of absorb it out. But there's still definitely oil in that water.
So one thing you could do is to measure how much oil you put in, and then see if you can measure how much oil you can get back out. See if you can get the same amount of oil that you got out and in.
Yeah.
And you can do that experiment a couple of times and see if you can get any better using different tools. It might be a really good way to practice taking data.
Yep, that's a great idea. So thank you for joining us today at Amazement Square Anywhere, and we'll see you next time.